Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mojo Market Report right here on a Tuesday. It is Dave Sturchio. It is Chris Gueci, and of course, A5 Anthony behind the glass here at Chop Studios. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Hope everybody stayed up and enjoyed the fun of Monday Night Football. I mean, obviously, we'll get into that. It wasn't much fun at all for anybody involved. If you're a Patriots fan, I guess you can get excited. I mean, you got some kind of a chance at the playoffs, so you're kind of in the hunt, right? I mean,
aren't you the 6th seed now?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so in the hunt means like you're on the outside looking in.
Do you know ESPN put up a graphic last night and they were calling it loitering? Like they were like in the playoffs, and instead of in the hunt, it was like loitering. And like Joe Buck was like, "Isn't that illegal?" I'm just like, I don't know why.
I guess it's pretty funny. Good job, ESPN.
Yeah, way to go. Good job. Fell flat. But there is a lot to get into from last night's game. And we start with our top movers of the night. And this is an unfortunate one to talk about because of the repercussions that follow it. And that's Kyler Murray going down relatively early. My dad was playing him in fantasy football, and he said he turned on the game 5 minutes late. And he saw Colt McCoy in. He didn't know what the heck happened. So obviously it stinks. Kyler Murray scrambles right side, does his thing, non-contact. His, the look of it looks like his knee exploded from him. And I've done this before. I've torn my ACL. This is not a fun situation. What people are saying that could be the thing is a torn ACL. As soon as that happened, he's down 7%. If you have the 5-time go long on him, you're looking at a 35% loss last night. But you're probably going to lose even more. So I would get out now when the MRI confirms that it's a torn ACL. Right now, the market's like timid, saying it might not be as bad. Maybe. I don't know.
This is one of those spots where I feel like Kyler regains his value at a certain point. Now, the same way you look at the market, where it's like if you're going to sit here and hold, you could hold Kyler, and I think you're going to get your money back. But do you want to sit there and hold him until maybe a month, 2 months into next season?
I was going to say he's not going to be ready for the opener, like the Cardinals.
He might.
I mean, that's a freakish thing. That's a 9-month quick turnaround. That's quick.
Odell's
still not playing.
Jamison Williams tore his in the national championship game last year.
That was early January. We're in December.
Okay, but he's playing.
That's 12 months.
But he's been playing for 2 weeks. So I'm just
still
saying.
12 months. It's a long time, man. I'm telling you.
It's not fully 12 months because the national championship game hasn't taken place yet.
Even freaks like Michael Gallup, who did it in January, were back.
Came back in 10 months. You could look at like a 10-month period.
But when you
Kyler.
play the style of football that Kyler plays, that's not going to be a thing, I don't think. Do you think this guy has to completely change his way of playing?
No.
So
I think an ACL in the NFL now, it stinks because you lose your season, but you don't necessarily lose your career anymore. And the surgeries are done really well. Obviously, like you've seen tons of guys bounce back from ACL injuries. Joe Burrow had one a couple years back as a rookie, and everybody thought the wheels came off. But now Joe Burrow's the man. So right. It's safe to say that Kyler is not Joe Burrow. I think we could all agree on that one in terms of the quarterback itself. But I think Kyler, I'm not a big fan of Kyler Murray. I reluctantly do own him in a dynasty fantasy football league as well. But I don't know if the move is to sell. It depends on your approach here, because when I'm in this type of situation in the actual market, I kind of hold if I still believe that this guy's going to bounce back or the company will bounce back. In this case, it's the guy. I think Kyler will bounce back to his share price that he started at yesterday, but it's going to take about 8 to 10 months, maybe even a little bit longer, as Dave pointed out.
I mean, that could be. I mean, when you talk about going long on somebody, as Chris's shirt says today, that's long. That's a long play.
Now, conversely, I don't think that anybody should be going long on Colt McCoy either.
No. Colt McCoy. By the way, what a beating he took last night. That dude was rocked plenty of times. The Patriots defense pinned their ears back. We said going in to this game that the Patriots defense was something to kind of keep your eye on because of guys that like Judon and stuff like that. Those guys are flying around. They're pinning their ears back. A couple sacks out of, what's it like, Uche? I don't know. He's got like 8 sacks in the last 9 games. He's having a hell of a season.
I had the case of the Mondays last night, so I was like, I'm going to sit down and watch the game. Before the game started, I passed out.
Right? Oh, nice.
Then I woke up and I saw like Kyler on the cart, and I was like, oh. And then I woke up.
That can't be good.
I woke up and I was like, Pierre Strong just ran one in. I was like,
who the hell is Pierre Strong?
Where's Ramondre Stevenson? And then all of a sudden it was like, well, this game is over because the Patriots are no way giving up 2 touchdowns to a Colt McCoy-led offense in the second half. So
yeah, I slapped the bet, by the way. That was an easy play for me, minus the 3. But anyway, moving on. Unfortunately, look, again, Kyler will be missing plenty of time. If you're an investor in Kyler, chances are he does what Chris says he's going to do. He's going to regain what he just lost. But it's a very long. You got to be patient with Kyler Murray now.
If you don't want to displace your funds in Kyler Murray for now, there's going to be other money to be made as the season goes on, as they incorporate other sports.
Just keep throwing it on Tua. Not Tua. Tua, fine. Jalen Hurts. Guys jumped over the MVP conversation. Now he's like the odds-on favorite. Like Mahomes doesn't stand a chance all of a sudden. All right, moving on to who you just said, Mr. Strong. Pierre Strong Jr. bursted onto the scene last night. He's got himself a nice little boost. 5 runs, 70 yards, 44-yard scamper. He had a nice little burst. He's up 9%. If you have a 2-time multiplier on him, look, I don't foresee anybody going into last night with a Pierre Strong Jr. in their portfolio. However, we saw Stevenson get banged around. He was in and out of the lineup. Damian Harris missed the game. He's sitting there in street clothes. There is opportunity now with Bill Belichick. This has always been the thing. With his defense, his running backs, it's like you can never pick one because he's got a million. We're back to that situation because Ramondre was becoming the bell cow, and now he gets banged up, and now all these new guys get this opportunity. So now I'm looking at a Strong. Are you in on Strong for the rest of this season?
No. I have to see what's going on with Stevenson first. But look, even yesterday, in a game that they were able to pretty much, I guess, do some good things offensively, Pierre Strong still only had 5 carries, 7 total touches. So it wasn't like he was just heavily involved and he was getting the ball every play. And he doesn't seem to be the type. If anything, he might be able to carve out a nice role, as you've seen other guys do in the Patriots offense in the past, like a Kevin Falk, James White type. So those things, that's a possibility. Ramondre Stevenson, he does a lot in the pass game, and I don't know that they're really looking for that guy right now. Ramondre Stevenson gets healthy, I think he's still the play. And, I mean, as we get into the next guy, might as well just bring him up with Hunter Henry. I think the conversation that we could be had about yesterday's game was that most of the guys that moved in the positive direction, I don't know that there was many people invested in him. It was one of those weird games where it wasn't very star driven. There wasn't a lot of stars doing a lot of great
you have
things.
Hopkins putting the ball on the carpet.
James Conner went up a little bit, but what I think we had an opportunity to see yesterday is some of these guys, maybe a Hopkins or a Ramondre Stevenson, take a little bit of a dip. And I've been screaming Ramondre Stevenson from the mountaintop since, I guess, about a month and a half ago. Now he's a little bit lower. You might have an opportunity here to buy low on some of these guys. If you aren't in on Ramondre Stevenson yet, monitor what that injury is, but I feel like it's a good opportunity.
Well, speaking of Henry, Hunter Henry, look, yesterday, only 3 catches on 3 targets, caught them all, 70 yards, so like he definitely ran free a lot across the middle of the field. Mac Jones, which I'm out on Mac Jones. I am. I just don't buy it. He seems like he's just, there's a lot of crying involved. Like he's just, I don't know. There's a lot of I think yesterday the camera caught him like you saw Patricia trying to call something out and Bailey was like, no, not Bailey. Freaking, what's this guy? He was like, go away.
Could you imagine
what do you mean,
trying
dude?
To deal with Matt Patricia calling plays for you?
Yeah,
though?
but I understand that. And while I agree that it's like a weird thing, but dude, Mac Jones is just, I don't know. He just doesn't.
I'm not in on Mac Jones.
But
I guess I'll eat my words from yesterday because I did say I think he'd have some success.
I mean, he didn't have yeah, he did. I mean, look, he threw for 235, but he threw a pick, no touchdowns. Running game style. He had a rating of 75.3, so it wasn't great. But Hunter Henry, on the other hand, he gets open. He's a young quarterback's best friend when he's underneath like that. He's not talked about enough this year. We talk of tight ends all year round. We're talking the Kelce's of the world and Goddard before he got hurt, and we're every week we're like, this will be the week for Pitts, and then he goes down. You know what I mean? Like Hunter Henry isn't talked about enough. He's up 2% right now. He's like sandwiched between David Njoku and Darren Waller, 2 guys that have not performed this year. Waller's been hurt a lot, and Njoku's he's had spurts, but not much. It's just, I don't know. He used to be one of the top guys, Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter Henry isn't talked about enough, and deservedly so, because he hasn't even had one game this season where he's had 5 receptions. And there's been a bunch of games where he's had 3 or less.
I'll ask you a question.
There's not one game where he's been targeted over 7 times. He only has 2 touchdowns. Did he have a touchdown yesterday?
No.
He did not. So, no, I'm still...
Well, here's my question to you. If you're projecting and you're The market projects him to only have $1.77 going forward for the rest of his career. He's 28 years old. Like, do you find it to be low for him?
I find his age to be a lot lower than I thought it was.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He's 28. Like, he's not even 30 yet.
They signed him over there to be...
Him and Jonnu were like supposed to be the 1-2.
Somewhat of more of a focal point of this offense, and he hasn't necessarily lived up to it. Hunter Henry has always had an injury history, so I think the market expects him to kind of continue in that direction. And look, he has a full go of it as the true tight end one on an offense that you would expect traditionally use their tight ends a whole lot, and he's not doing much. I agree with the market. I would say, if anything, there's a little bit of a lofty expectation because there's a ton of tight ends that are coming up in this league.
$1.77 for the rest of his career.
All right, let's just
say he plays another 7 years.
But let's just think about. All right, I'm going to pull up his graphics.
Yeah, because you'll have to figure out how much he's making a year, right? His average, right? Because I don't know. When I saw this number and I'm on the app and I'm like, wait, what? You know, like what? Like, it's one thing to say, like, all right, well, maybe another $3. You know, he's got 7 years left. But like under $2 for the rest of his career to me seems low.
All right, well, he's only banked under 6. So
again,
if you look at some of the seasons he's had,
his time in San Diego,
if you've looked at
that was when it was peak Hunter Henry, and then you get put into a new system. Dual quarterback set. Do you think not a coordinator in sight right now for the offense?
Do you think at like age 29 he's going to get like a little more athletic? I don't
know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just. It's not like Hunter Henry's like a friend of mine, but you know what I mean.
Like, I understand. I understand what you're saying, and I think that he had expectations coming into the league, and he had maybe a couple flashes where it looked like there's some real potential with Hunter Henry on a season or two. And then he signed this deal with New England, and it hasn't gone well for him. So look at the spot.
Maybe a new spot eventually. Maybe he becomes a seasoned vet somewhere else. I don't know. I just feel like Hunter Henry could be a thing.
Let's look around the league. A lot of teams are using these two tight ends now. It's being split up a little more. There's not many true tight ends that are.
Yeah, unless you're Travis Kelce
fourth
getting
best tight end in
40
fantasy.
targets a game.
Yeah, I'm a no. I'm a short game on Hunter.
Fair enough, Hunter. I'm sorry, man. We can't get on the same page here. I believe in you. Don't know why. I just feel like you could be something. All right. So as we get into week number 15, which is like depressing. I remember saying like week 4, it's going too fast. We're in December now. We're headed to the playoffs. We got to catch you up. What?
Try being like 5-8.
And in the hunt, or in what are you doing? Loitering, somewhat.
I would say the Packers are probably loitering. We're not in the hunt yet.
They were all in the same conversation. The loitering conversation was everybody that was in the hunt.
I'm fixing their graphic.
Oh, okay. All right. But anyway, let's catch you up on some of these rookie quarterbacks because a lot of movement is happening currently because of the fact that this week we get to see the debut of Desmond Ridder. We'll start with him, and then we'll kind of catch you up on everybody else, see if these guys have any kind of staying power going forward. Because, look, there's been guys that have spiked on the Mojo market because of opportunity, and then as soon as their opportunity saw itself play out, you're never going to see this guy again. So there's a couple of those guys, but there's a couple of guys that I'm definitely going long on. We'll start with Desmond Ridder with the expectations of him. Right now, he's priced at $7.88. He does have a 3-time multiplier on him. Since draft day, since he came into the league, he's up 39%. Now, the reason for that is because of the fact that there was games where Mariota looked completely lost, right? And there's expectations to say maybe one day this guy gets into the game, and maybe this season it could be. We'll see. The Atlanta Falcons hovering around a playoff spot all of a sudden because of the fact that the NFC South stinks. But, like, when you look at Ridder, the opportunity is now. So now what I'm thinking is this. His debut this Sunday, you have a chance to make some serious coin if this guy goes off, right?
Yes, you do. I like Ridder, right? I've been in on Ridder more so because I'm forced to. I pulled a Desmond Ridder auto. I've talked about it on this show like 15 times. I'm manifesting some good things for Desmond Ridder. I think Desmond Ridder is a slightly better version of a Marcus Mariota in terms of athletic ability. I think he's a little bit bigger. I know he's faster. I know for a fact he's got a rocket for an arm. It's about, can he make the right decisions? Is he going to be able to break down a defense, pick up things like, audibles at the line of scrimmage? Those are the things that we're going to have to find out, like any other young quarterback. But at this point, coming off a bye week, I think it's a good spot for them to be in, right? I'm not sure exactly who their schedule is.
It's against the Saints. They're in the dome.
NFC South I mean, yeah, the Saints. We could say, oh,
winner of this game. All of a sudden,
we could say, oh, the Saints he's got to go play in the dome. Oh, I don't know about that. And it's like, well, do you really think that the Saints fans give a crap right now about the Saints? They're
a rabid fan base, regardless.
They're the 5th pick, and they don't have it. They're sick in New Orleans right now. Trust me, right? And
yeah, who all
that said, they're a top 5 pick. They're a team picking in the top 5. So it's not like he's got this daunting matchup. I like Desmond Ridder in this one. I like Desmond Ridder going forward. They have him technically. I mean, right now, if you're looking at future Mojo value, he's second. It's Kenny Pickett, which I'm sure we're about to talk about in a second, with 1669 in future market projections. And Desmond Ridder comes in at second with 789. Sorry, nice. There he is. Okay. And then Malik Willis right after him with 778. So I don't know that they expect him to be a starter, but they know that he's going to get his opportunity. And that might be a season or a season and a half's worth of opportunity. Even if Mariota was to... If it wasn't like a benching, he's out for the season now. So there is nobody to look over his shoulder at.
That's true.
It's Desmond Ritter's job for the foreseeable future. So, yeah, I'm going to go long on Desmond Ridder.
You were just talking about, I'm also on that, too. And I think he has a successful game. Him and Drake London might be something. I also think
his game fits well into that system that they're already running, right? It's like Mariota didn't do much. So you're asking Desmond Ridder to come in and also not do much, but with the potential to blow the top off the defense with a deep ball.
I'm with it.
That Mariota couldn't do.
Another guy who has played this season so far is Kenny Pickett. You just mentioned him, right? So for the season, he's got just under 1,800 yards, 4 touchdowns, 8 picks, 65% completion percentage. He's rushed for 44 times, 225 yards. He's actually ran the ball in 3 times in the pay dirt. Kenny Pickett right now is sitting there at $19.36. He's up 35% since draft day. We all know the spike when it happened when Mitch was benched. Does Kenny Pickett, to you, have staying power in this league? Right now, the Steelers are a couple games under 500. They're rounding out their season. It's clearly not Mitch Trubisky. They've invested in Kenny Pickett. Will you invest in Kenny Pickett?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not yet, and I have to full disclosure there. But it's not necessarily because I don't believe that Kenny Pickett is going to be good. I just think that it's going to take some time on that Steelers offense. And look, to answer your question, do I think Kenny Pickett has staying power? I do, at least a little bit, because he's a first-round pick, so there's capital invested in drafting him, right? And the second aspect of that is that he's a Pittsburgh alum, University of Pittsburgh alum. So there's a fan base there. There's like a following. The fans are going to give him a longer leash.
Now, is that all? But I was just going to say, is that also a detriment? Because, I mean, like, he's the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, went to Pitt, all these expectations.
Oh, it could be.
Now, all of a sudden, can't root against him because he's the hometown boy. You know what I mean?
It could be if you're a Steelers fan and he's not good. But if you're a Mojo investor, that's actually just a good thing, because getting the opportunity to be the starting quarterback for as long as possible gives you more opportunity to make money. So while maybe, to your point, it stinks for the Steelers fans, but if he's good, right, and he just needs... You ever see those memes where it's like, you got a guy digging through dirt and there's like the diamond right on the other side of like a 1 inch of dirt?
Uh-huh.
Imagine they bench a quarterback, give him the long leash in Pittsburgh. They have no offensive line. They're really struggling offensively. But they do have George Pickens. They do have Deontay Johnson signed for a little bit.
You know Johnson hasn't scored a touchdown this year?
I do know that.
That's crazy.
And he had one, and it was called back. Trust me.
That little means he lost in fantasy that week because of it.
And they have Freiermuth. They have Najee Harris. Jalen Warren's got a nice little...
You mean Jeff Heath? Not Jeff Heath. What's his name?
Heath Miller?
Heath Miller.
Jeff Heath.
Safety of the Cowboys. The GOAT himself. Anyway, don't get it twisted. Jeff Heath.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's offense is young and similarly good like the Jets are. Like, they have good young talent, and I believe they could build around Pickett for a little bit.
All right. Another guy that's going to be playing again this week for his second start is Brock Purdy.
Woo.
Brock Purdy right now, he costs $3.30. Super low, right? He's up 102% since draft day. Since becoming Mr. Irrelevant, he's up 102%. Now, that's not with the multiplier, right? Brock Purdy, he's played 1 game, right? So I'm not about to, or 1.5, whatever the case. 2-ish, whatever.
First drive.
Fine.
So it's been
That's true. 2 games, fine. Has Brock Purdy done enough, in your mind, to at least be a backup quarterback for the rest of his career. He's Mr. Irrelevant. Sometimes, most times, 6th to 7th round picks don't even make rosters in the NFL. This guy all of a sudden is a starting quarterback of the potential NFC West champion, San Francisco 49ers. He might get a playoff game. He's going to get a playoff game. You know what I mean? So, like, how are you playing this market right now with Brock Purdy? Well, this one, I know we talked about him yesterday because we're all excited. It's the Purdy show. It's Brock season, all that stuff. But, like, right now, if you're making some moves today on the market, how are you playing Purdy?
Well, right now I'm reading that his injury isn't serious, that oblique.
He's going to play. He's going to play.
They're saying there's a 50-50
Who the hell
chance.
is the backup down there now?
Realistic chance that he misses Thursday's game. It says that.
Can you imagine? Who the hell's the fourth quarterback of the Niners?
There's also a realistic chance that he does play the game. So, yeah, I do think Brock Purdy did enough. I wouldn't say enough for his career. I mean, I don't know that he's ever going to be a true starter. So, in that sense,
I think comparing to Nick Mullins last, you know what I mean?
Like, career lasts 4 years, he's never going to be a starter in that span unless there's an injury that happens.
Josh Johnson, that's a thing.
Yeah,
he could play. He's a journeyman, but he could play on Thursday if they needed it to be.
Yeah,
anyway,
he's been on the most teams in NFL history, I think.
Definitely all 32, maybe even a 33rd.
Like he's actually been on the 49ers.
It doesn't exist yet.
It's the third time on the 49ers.
Right.
So
it's made his rounds.
There at least is some familiarity with the system.
But so staying on Purdy.
So back to the point, yeah, I think if anything, it means that Jimmy G is clearly going to be out of town after this season because Brock Purdy has done enough as the 7th round pick with the cheapest possible rookie contract you could possibly have.
He's making like league minimum
outside of an undrafted free agent. How crazy is this? Where I've always asked, anytime we've had a rookie or a college kid on one of our shows and we've asked them questions, I would ask, like, would you rather not get drafted at all than get drafted with the last pick?
Oh, we talked to Tverdov about that,
and then they're like, well, I would definitely want to get drafted just because it's kind of clout.
It's a flex.
But at the same time, the financials aren't much different than if you just get to pick where you go. If there's a bunch of teams that are interested, then you get to pick. But nonetheless, Brock Purdy,
and those guys get calls on draft day. They're like, listen, we're not going to draft you, but if you make it through, we're going to give you $1 million. You know what I mean? Or something.
Yeah, there's no way. I can't see any situation in the foreseeable future where the 49ers let Brock Purdy walk. Right. Jimmy G walks before Brock Purdy. So he's a roster spot next year, almost guaranteed right now to me. So if you think Trey Lance is healthy or will be healthy, then maybe you pump the brakes on Brock Purdy. But I think Brock Purdy gets some...
It's the Purdy party.
Some starts. I think he gets some starts in this league. We're looking at it as he's got 74 cents in bank value, right?
Already.
256 in future value. 2 games, 74 cents. The way I'm looking at it, he didn't even really light it up in the game, too. He played well. But the way I'm looking at it, he don't need much more to exceed those expectations.
It's very true.
I'm all about Brock Purdy.
Same. All right. Now. One more guy to talk about in a positive light who's played football in the NFL this year is Malik Willis. Now, he came in spot starts when Tannehill went down. They had some packages for him early on, right? So Malik Willis is only throwing the ball 34 times in his NFL career right now, based off his spot starts. 157 yards. He's not even throwing a touchdown yet. He's throwing a pick. He's 19 rushes for 72 yards. Now, Malik Willis, since draft day, is down 33%. Okay? There's a 3-time multiplier on this guy, so yikes if you went long on him off the rip. But here at Mojo, it's all about future expectations. The Titans are reeling right now. The Titans are on their way to potentially miss the playoffs. Potentially, but they probably won't because they're going to win that division, right? So, like, they won't make the playoffs. I mean, they won't miss the playoffs. So there's like standard, right? I mean, the Colts, no. The Jaguars, no. Who is it? The Texans, absolutely not, right? So, like, they're going to make the playoffs by default. Do we live in a world where if they keep reeling, that they can make a switch going into the postseason with Malik Willis instead of Tannehill?
I don't think so.
You would think it'd be silly, but then, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, well, they're not doing nothing with Tannehill right now.
But we saw what that offense looked like this year with Malik Willis, and it's a little bit worse with him than it was with Tannehill, right? I think that they scored 13, 13, 13 or something.
But based off of this season as a whole, right? If the Titans go on and win the AFC South, which they should, they will. I think they've already clinched or something like that. Maybe not, but if they go off and win the AFC South, is Tannehill safe next year too?
No,
right?
Not,
So that's what I'm saying. So that's why I mean Malik Willis right now might be down, but
I also don't think that the Titans necessarily view him as the incumbent starter or the next guy.
Wow. All right. So you think maybe next year, if somebody falls into their lap that they like, they might draft him too?
Not necessarily draft. I mean, there's going to be some vets available. There's going to be a Jimmy G.
They got a vet already. They got Tannehill. I mean,
okay, but
I'm just saying.
They got a vet in Tannehill, but Tannehill's not really getting it done. It's like sometimes you need a new message. Sometimes you need something different to change things up. But if we want to talk about Malik Willis, what I think is that it was a bad draft pick. I don't think that Malik Willis necessarily is a bad football player. I don't think stylistically this is a fit whatsoever. With Derrick Henry, he needs the ball. He needs to be deep in the backfield. Look how far deep he lines up in the backfield.
Oh, it's like 12 yards
He's like
sometimes.
12 or 13 yards. And almost 90% of the snaps, you got Tannehill under center. Malik Willis in college wasn't under center ever at Liberty, so he was in the shotgun the entire time.
Do you think they had the idea that like we can become like this RPO, faster octane offense with the run game because of the fact that he's in?
I don't think so. If you want to be the RPO faster type of offense, you need fast receivers. They don't have those.
And
they
you
didn't
also
even
need a
draft
faster
fast
running
receiver.
back.
Traylon Burks isn't known for his speed. That's not their game.
So
right?
what the hell is the point of drafting this guy?
Are you gonna put Malik Willis under center and take him out of his element so you could get the most out of Derrick Henry? I would say most likely yes, right? Are you going to go in the shotgun and make Derrick Henry your star player unhappy? I would say most likely not. That's probably what should happen for the offense to ever succeed. But really what needs to happen is they can't be on the field together. And one thing has to happen for the other to happen. And either Derrick Henry leaves town or retires or gets injured.
Who still is the top
and then
dog
they
as far
change
as
their entire
running backs
philosophy offensively to suit Malik Willis's needs, which I don't think is a good fit. I think Malik Willis, you know exactly what he is to me. He's going to be the backup quarterback in Tennessee for a very, very long time.
Okay.
At least 3 more years.
Couple guys that I don't think have any kind of staying power. Skylar Thompson, he came in for a little bit. He shot off the ranks because Tua got hurt. He was in there throwing the ball around a little bit. Great for him, but Tua's the guy. Skylar Thompson is not.
Bailey Zappi.
Listen, after watching Mac Jones, if they hold on to Bailey Zappi, which they should because he's a kid, so like why wouldn't you? I think that's a conversation going forward. I'm sorry, Mac Jones to me just ain't the dude. He doesn't sit, the body language. It doesn't sit well with me.
I'm just not sure.
And Bailey Zappi might be a Spider-Man meme where he's just like, oh, I'm you.
I'm not exactly sure if you don't see anything in Mac Jones, what you could possibly see in Bailey Zappi. And if it's just because he had a couple, maybe because he had a couple good weeks this year and you see the upward trajectory. But guess what? Mac Jones had those weeks last year. And then in year 2, you get figured out a little bit, and these defensive coordinators got a year of film on you.
All I'm saying is I don't think the conversation is a wrap in New England yet.
If it's not Mac Jones in New England, if it's not Mac Jones in New England, which it very well may not be, it's not Bailey Zappi either. That quarterback of the future is not present on that roster. You can maybe say the same thing about the Jets.
What about a this is off the wall, but like, you know that Puff Daddy song, P. Diddy, whatever the hell he's calling himself now? I'm coming home. What about Tom Brady? Back with Belichick next year for a year? What the hell? Why not? Listen, we've seen crazier stuff. We've seen Tom Brady leave. That was already the craziest
This
thing.
makes sense. Ready? Todd Bowles. Right? And then you go over to Belichick.
Has Todd Bowles' facial expression ever changed in the history of his coaching career?
No, neither is Belichick's. That's true too. That's not a bad quality for a coach. The inability to call an offensive play is a bad quality.
You might need to do that.
And I don't think that Brady goes to New England because I don't think that unless the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels, right? And Josh McDaniels goes back as the OC, and even then I still say no way.
Brady to the Death Star in Vegas to play for Josh McDaniels?
No. I'm saying you're choosing that MFer over me. Still
and now they won't. Wow. Anyway, guy that hasn't played yet, nothing out of Sam Howell. We'll figure him out as we go because the Tyler Heineke show rolls on. If they go to the playoffs, he's a starter next year, folks. That's just the way it is.
Well, no.
I think so. I don't think there's a competition next year. If Heineke leads them to the playoffs after coming in relief because Carson Wentz stinks, Howell is out. Howell does not come in there in training camp like, I'm taking this spot.
I don't think Howell will take the spot,
Heineke's.
but I just don't know for a fact that they won't do what they did last year and go for a veteran. You know, like there's guys out there that are going to become available.
Where the hell's Carson Wentz go?
Home.
He's gonna be starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers next year.
He'll be coaching.
He needs to do something. Just quit football. Anyway.
You know, you price yourself out of a backup quarterback job. That's what happens with some of these guys.
Yes.
It's like you can't
100%.
get caught
You got
on.
to take the significant pay cut to be a backup going forward. Anyway, do us a favor, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Definitely like the video on YouTube. That would help us out if you're watching this. Also, you can follow us on Mojo, on social media, at Mojo. You like that? Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, join the Discord, okay? The Discord is the ongoing conversation right now to be had. You have to go over there to educate yourself, to find out what other people are doing. You can kind of like just pick up a lot of advice from a lot of guys that have crushed the market already. If they're making money, why not piggyback off their bets? Why not piggyback off their decisions?
It's a good opportunity to talk to some of the people that are directly involved with how this whole app functions.
Yeah.
So you have questions and things like that. Use the Discord because you could watch this show, you could watch all the other content, you could read all you want, but when you could actually have a one-on-one with somebody that works over at Mojo,
T-squared in the building.
It's a solid.
He's in there. Tom. He's over there.
T-squared. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, why not?
Is
We're giving nicknames out here. T-squared.
Is that his Discord name?
I have no idea. I just see Tom. It's just there.
Mojo Tom. I think pretty sure it's Mojo Tom.
It probably is. So, in any event, thank you guys for watching today. We appreciate your support. And of course, be back here tomorrow on a Wednesday as we are entering week 15. A lot of stuff to cover before we get to Thursday Night Football. So for Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, and of course, A5 Behind the Glass, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We got one more word out of Chris.
I have nothing. I don't know. I was just bringing it home with you.
Nothing all. We're just bringing it all home. We'll see you guys tomorrow.